All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Parks and Rec Board of Commissioners meeting on this beautiful day. We need the rain, obviously, for our parks, so we're always happy and grateful for that. With that, we'll go ahead and get started with the meeting. Our first order of business is the approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is seconded, third and fourth by everybody here. So no more further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Very good. Resolution, the minutes are passed. On to resolution number 30099.
Yes, Commissioners. At a previous board meeting, we provided you a memo from Mr. Pat O'Neill making a request to honor Jim Nutter Sr. by placing his name as honorary Jim Nutter Sr. Way on a section of Broadway Boulevard from Westport to 43rd Street. Before you today, we have a resolution that follows through on that, and Mr. Pat O'Neill is here to address the resolution.
Very good.
Thank you all. I'll be brief, but I just wanted to thank you for your consideration. I think most of you know, and this is, I'm here kind of as a friend of Jim Nutter Sr.'s, and also he's my client, but more than that, I think he's also my landlord, so I have to be. But the fact that he's my landlord, I think, is probably one of the things that triggered this, is because, as you know, Jim owns personally, he's purchased about 33 buildings in and around his offices on Broadway, and it's starting in the 1980s. And he took what were a lot of marginal and rundown properties, and if you've ever been through Nutterville, of course you have to wear your sunglasses because he likes bright colors, but he also plants like 27,000 flowers just in the 6 or 8 square blocks. And he's done, I guess what I'm saying is it's starting in the 1980s, he was one by one taking many properties and really beautified them, brought them up to code, and to a really intriguing neighborhood, recreated a neighborhood, and including some of the commercial buildings that he has purchased up and down Broadway. You can always tell a Jim Nutter Sr. property by the fact that the landscaping and the flowers are always top-notch and they're always taken care of. So I think he's had a lot to do with the stabilization of Westport as a neighborhood and as a business area. And that's starting to come again to fruition. Now we're seeing some more money being invested in the neighborhood. So I think it just would be a fitting honor if we could do an honorary street. He's done so much on Broadway and along Broadway. We are in the process. We have gathered about somewhere 150 signatures of Kansas City, Missouri residents. We are in the process of working with the city to. Jim owns probably the bulk of the properties along Broadway that are adjacent to this area that we're talking about, or he or his family or the business does. But the other remaining property owners around there, we are working with them to get their signatures for their approval and the support of this effort as well. We'll have those obviously before this is approved by the city, but we should have those in the next week. And so I think we started working through the process about a month and a half ago, and there was, at the city there was still some, they didn't have the experience of doing this because the former director was gone. So we've been kind of working through the channels, want to do everything the right way, and that's why we're here today to make this presentation and get your support, and then we'll supply all the documentation to make it real.
Great. So, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Any questions? Any comments this time?
Thanks, I appreciate your
Thank you
consideration.
very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there a motion and a second? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Very good. Resolution passes. Resolution number 30100.
Yes, Commissioners.
Budget.
We are asking today for your approval of our budget for fiscal year 2014 and 2015. You have a memo in your packet that outlines a lot of the high points and summarizes the dollars involved both from the revenue side and the expense side. And then behind the memo you have several backup documents, spreadsheets that show the accounts for both the revenue and expense side. And also in there you also have 2 decision packages that are part of that. They're the 2 last documents that total of $245,000 for 2 items that would be in our tree services division, both funded from the the general fund. I know we had some workshop discussion on this at a prior meeting and a little bit of conversation at the beginning of the meeting today in the workshop format. Sherry Van Winkle is the architect of this document, and she's here to answer any questions you might have, and we hope that she would approve this budget and subsequently send it on to the city manager.
Okay, very good. Are there any further questions at this time for Sherry or Mark or Terry for that matter?
The only comment is this is our first budget under our new funding source. And Sherry, if you'd like to address that.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Afternoon.
Yes, actually, we are right now in the middle of our first year as funded by the park sales tax that was passed last August. And when we put this budget together last year at this time, based on that sales tax, we were in a little unknown territory. Now we have about 6 months of this under our belts, and we feel that the revenue source is stable, although right now flat. It's at exactly where we hoped it would be at this point in the fiscal year. We're about halfway near our 30 million net revenue mark from the sales tax. So we look forward to next year, now that we've had a little bit experience with this. We might have been a little ambitious when we put this together last year. This year, now with a little more experience under our belt, we have pulled back in some areas and made some adjustments, but we think we're well on our way to being where we hoped we would be when we took this to the voters last year at this time.
Fantastic. That's great.
The only other comment is now we have a stability, and this is a year where there's not a threat of a budget cut, and this is nowhere near getting back to where we were in our peak budget years, but at least there's a stability and ability to at least project what our future is, and gives us an opportunity to get the biggest bang for our buck. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other
Thanks, Sherry.
comments or questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is there a motion to approve the resolution and the budget?
So moved.
Yeah, okay, we're good. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion is seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, very good. Resolution passes. Resolution number 30101.
Yes, Commissioner, this is a cooperative agreement amendment to Bike Share Kansas City. We entered into an agreement last year with Bike Share to put up kiosks throughout the city, and several of those are in the Park and Boulevard system. And this amendment would allow the program to operate on a year-round basis. You have a memo in your packet from Boris Decker, and Eric Rogers is also here. And if you have any questions, Boris is going to answer them.
Absolutely. Afternoon, Commissioners. If you don't have any questions, I will just introduce Eric. He'll tell you a little bit about first-year operations.
Yeah.
Go from there.
That'd be great.
Thank you, Commissioners. Eric Rogers, Bike Walk KC, Kansas City B-Cycle. As Director McHenry said, we do have 4 stations that are on Grand Boulevard, as well as a 5th station that is in Fountain Park, 8th and Broadway in the Garment District area. And this has been a great partnership with the city, in particular the Parks Department. We started in July of last year. We took the first winter off and started back up again in March of this year, and found that not only were people beginning to depend on bike share for transportation, recreation, and fitness, that there were also many opportunities during the winter in terms of conventions and other events that were going on where it would have been advantageous for the city and for bike share to have been open in the winter. And so in light of that, we began seeking some funding and have been awarded a federal job access and reverse commute grant, which will support year-round operations. And so that's why we're here with this request. I can give you just a few highlights from our first year. We had 9,600 total bike trips last year and year-to-date cumulative. That's about 29,000 miles. It's about 27,000 pounds of carbon offset. It's about 1.1 million calories that have been burned by our users. So we see a lot of good benefits in terms of recreation, physical fitness, transportation, as well as economic development. We're starting to see interest from the development community to incorporate bike share as an amenity in new projects that are starting to come around. We've seen about 20% of our users are using bike share to go to or from transit, as well as about 35% of our trips are replacing a car trip. Again, we have 12 stations and 90 bikes in the greater downtown. In the spring, we are expecting to expand by another 8 to 12 stations with a combination of federal transportation funds from the CMAQ program, as well as some private dollars from the businesses in the area. And so we hope that that expansion will be centered around the Plaza, Westport, UMKC area. We don't have final locations selected yet, but I would imagine that we may have some on the Park and Boulevard system, so we may be back again with some new locations for your consideration. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about the project.
What percentage did you say that are replacing cars?
So we did a customer survey at the end of last year, and we found that about 35% of the trips that people took on bike share were replacing what would have been a car trip.
That's great. Where did you expect to sort of be? I mean, in the first year, you said you had, what, 9,600 sort of trips? I mean, is that on target what you thought? Did it exceed it tremendously, or was it?
To be honest, we took our best educated guess. Every city that has done this has been very unique, so it's very hard to compare between cities. We do find that in terms of a city of our size and a system of our size, we are still on the low range for a variety of factors having to do with presence of bike lanes in the current service area, which are not there yet, but the city has several bike lane projects downtown in the pipeline. Other factors such as residential population, declining downtown employment, things like that. So we're probably a little lower than what we would have expected, but we do think looking at the expansion in the Plaza area where there's about 3 times the population density, that we do expect to see a pretty big uptick. And to be honest, last year was really our pilot season, so we were trying it out. We're now starting to learn the patterns and the numbers and whatnot.
Fantastic. That's good. Well, we wish you continued success.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is seconded. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 30102.
Yes, Commissioners, a recommendation to award a contract to Little Joe's Asphalt, amount of $389,442.53 for a jogging trail in Loose Park. Recommend approval, and Travis here if you have any questions.
Are there any questions at this time regarding the resolution before us?
Travis, I just had one question. How many bidders did we have on this?
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Afternoon.
I don't recall on the bid tab on this. I believe we had 3, and I know that this went out actually a second time because when this went through the first time, all the bids were over the engineer's estimate, and so we had to go back out a second time for this. So this was the second round.
Okay.
So end up with 3.
Okay, thank you.
And one question I have, the removal of some of the existing rubberized trail surface, is that because it was used up and?
Yeah,
Okay.
actually, it had gone beyond its useful life. Typically, you want to get rid of that on a 8 to 10 year basis, and some of that went well beyond that. So then milling this, we're going back with a polymer surface that will have a longer life than what the rubber surface did.
Is it the same width?
Yes.
When will this work start?
The asphalt work will start this fall, and hopefully have all that completed before the end of December. The rubberized work or the surfacing work is temperature sensitive, and so therefore it can't start until next spring. So,
Okay. So it'll be ready in the spring.
Yep.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Travis.
All right, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, very good. Resolution passes. Resolution number 30103.
Yes, Commissioners, facility use concession agreement for your consideration with Cristo Rey High School for a boys soccer tournament the weekend of November 4th, 5th, and 6th over at the 9th and Van Brent Soccer Complex. We recommend approval. You have a memo in your packet from Mark Boland, and if you have any questions, Mark is here to answer those.
Okay. Mark, you like to say a few words about it? or-
Yeah, I would. Commissioners, Mark Boland. This is our second year of the facility being fully open and operational. And each year, we're looking to build more tournaments, not only with schools like Crystal Ray, but the Kansas City, Missouri School District as well. So we really feel that the 9th and Van Brunt site is an attractive one, and we'll continue to market that for tournaments, both, high school and otherwise, as the seasons go by. Our recommendation, obviously, is to approve the proposed facility use with concession agreement with Crystal Ray for this upcoming tournament.
Very good. Any questions? Who's playing in the tournament? Do you know, or do we have a representative from Crystal Ray?
Actually, we don't have representative from
Okay.
Crystal Ray, but
Okay.
we do have some representation from another source.
Okay.
And another program.
Great, very good.
And it is their sixth grade. I believe it is their sixth grade.
Okay.
Yep. No, I'm not quite sure it's just their high school.
Oh, so district,
Yeah,
yeah,
just their-
that's
yeah.
great. I would highly encourage the other commissioners, if you get a chance to go and watch a tournament up at 9th and Van Brunt. I've been to a couple of them, and it is fantastic.
Cool.
Just the turnout, and I'll tell you, the field is just great. It's a fast surface, fast playing field, I can tell you that much. And those kids do a great job, and I think our staff does a great job of keeping it clean in partnership with.
And even
with
when
others.
there's not tournaments going on, it's used heavily, so.
Yeah, very much so. So it's a great site, great venue.
Great.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the resolution and the license?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Resolution number 30104.
Yes, another one that Mark Boland is handling, fees and charges for aquatics and athletics. We have a memo in your packet with some recommendations in 3 particular areas, and then a discount for our 50 forward program. So Mark, you want to kind of walk through that for us, please?
Yeah, actually, I would. Thank you, Director McHenry. We're constantly looking at ways, obviously, to add capacity to the services that we provide, and in that regard, increase our revenue within the division. The personal training, 5 visits, the adult active fitness is for adults, and each time that they visit, they're charged $2 for an hour of exercise. The personal training, 5 visits, this just means that persons will buy a pass, and they'll be provided the opportunity for 5 sessions for $150. I might add that this is one of the new programs that we're offering personal fitness-wise. So we have a personal fitness person instructor at the Southeast Community Center, and I think this December we're looking to train 3 more of our staff to become certified personal trainers. So this fee will go a long ways to not only start the program at Southeast, but the other 3 sites as well. And then at the bottom, we have a competitive diving program that we're going to put in place primarily at Central High School, but it's also been done at the Swope Park Pool. And we do have a visitor here, and one of our partners, maybe not a visitor, but a partner, Gabe Downing, who I would like to really talk a little bit more about the competitive diving. We've been working with Gabe and his organization for the last 3 years, but this is the first year that we're really getting a fee attached to the services that he looks to provide for the competitive diving program. Yes, sir.
Before we get to that, I'd like to go back to the personal training. You said 3 new locations?
Yeah, we're looking at Southeast, we're looking at Greg Kleiss, we're looking at Tony Agede, and we're looking at Kansas City North.
Okay.
And kind of related to that, is it going to be like a one-size-fits-all personal training, or is it going to be like, hey...
No,
I
it's
wanna-
personalized.
Cool, okay.
It's a personalized person.
Yeah.
Great.
And they'll do an
Mine would be
assessment.
different than yours.
Is there?
They'll do
you
an
know,
assessment.
Can you just give some context a little bit about a couple different things? Why we're doing this, right? Is this something that was in relation to the work that we just had done by Pros Consulting, and
You know-
there's that, and then also really, this idea, this 20% discount. Obviously, a discount on one end. Hopefully, then the idea is that then more people would use it, and then because you mentioned that this would, increase revenue within.
Not
Is that the hope?
not only do we think the discount will provide more users, we also feel that the group that we're working with will provide us volunteer opportunities from that 50 Forward group.
Okay.
So that discount will serve two purposes. One will get individuals ages 50 plus into our centers, and we're still having some conversations right now about how those individuals might be able to volunteer for the Parks and Recreation Department in activities and programs coming up. So it is a somewhat of a reciprocating proposal that we put before the board as well. The personal training, obviously, the Parks and Recreation Department and other departments are always looking at ways to assist our citizens with healthy lifestyles. We obviously know that the obesity rate here in Kansas City is as large or as great as any city. So we're always looking for ways and trying to institute programs that will address not only obesity, but will address the overall physical fitness of the citizens of Kansas City. And it is by far one of the more competitive rates that we've been able to find throughout the greater metropolitan area.
So with the 20% in essence, that was because driven by market forces as opposed, so the 20, as opposed to it being a higher number or a lower number?
It was really driven with the fact that we were trying to partner with the 50 Forward program. And the members of that 50 Forward program were looking to provide them with a 20% discount in order for them to visit our facilities more regularly and programs and other things that we offer. But again, to allow them or to ask them for their assistance in volunteering in other programs.
It'd be good, after, I guess the only thing is, after a period of time to see whether or not our assumptions on this were correct, a year later, or, something, say, do we see an increase in the number of people from this 50 Forward Club in terms of their enrollment signing up or not?
Volunteering.
Yeah,
We
even though-
will be doing surveys, and we will be taking participation.
Okay.
Have we made any outreach to the business community where they might have an employee fitness program and competition type of situation where we would get some reimbursement for using our facilities to help them with their weight reduction and wellness programs for their businesses?
Well, actually, we are right now working with Healthways. They are a hospital-based organization that we do our Silver Sneakers program with. So members of Healthways, members of that organization can use our facilities, and I think it's like for $3 per visit, up to, I think, 10 visits. So they pay us, we do a program. So in that sense, we are kind of benefiting from other businesses, particularly in the healthcare industry, for the services that we provide.
Is there a senior discount that we provide otherwise outside of the 50 Forward?
Yes,
Club?
we do
What's
provide.
that? What?
It just depends on the program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For a monthly pass, it's normally $25. If you're 60 or over, you get it for $15.
Okay.
So this is not as high a percentage, but it goes to a younger group. And then also, anyone that's currently at our facility that wants the discount, the 20% discount, they can join the 50 Forward for $25 a year. So they can weigh pretty quickly if that's a better deal for them or not.
And we also provide a 20% discount on city employees for our annual memberships. And with that,
Now our guest.
I'd like to introduce Gabe Downing, who will be the diving instructor for our competitive diving program. Gabe?
Hi, good afternoon. Basically, I've been involved in diving in this community since I was 6, 7 years old. I dove for a number of years, went to China North, University of Nebraska, and so forth. I've been coaching diving since I was about 20, 21, something like that. And I, for a number of years, had my own separate, kind of akin to the Kansas City Blazers, if you're familiar with that, as a swim team program. And in the past few years, I've kind of downsized that, gone more of a corporate route, if you will. But But in that time, and speaking with Mr. Boland, I found that I really still had a passion for this, really wanted to still pursue it. And so I tried to look at what avenues were out there. Central High School, if you're not familiar with, is the jewel for aquatics in this community. It's just a fantastic facility, and I know, not to get into a great history of it, but going back to the desegregation case and so forth, the vision was really to try to serve more of an underserved population, try to offer diving and aquatics and things like that to that neighborhood. And not to get into any social thing on it, but I know it hasn't been as successful over the years as we would like. So basically, as I'm trying to get back towards this and investing myself more into it, I really tried to look at it and go, I'd like to do something that I feel like can have a community benefit along with just being an athletic thing. Just serving the kids is great, and all kids, deserve an opportunity, but these kids haven't had that opportunity. So that's basically where I come at it from. And so what we did, we've been talking through this, as Mr. Boland said, for a number of years. And what we did over the summer was we started to do sort of a trial program. We offered some classes at Swope Park and at Grove Park pools. And to be frank, it was a slow build. It definitely took some exposure and getting the word out there to the community. But between going to Party in the Park, the teen night out, I can't remember what that was called, but we tried to make sure I was present at everything I could. I had some helpers, representatives, if you will, there as well. And so we tried to outreach to the community as much as we could. I feel like we've got a good base of support started there. And so what we're really hopeful is that we can make this a solid program which will offer something that these kids haven't been exposed to, and allow them, an opportunity, certainly, something to try out, something for a safety standpoint as well, but also to try to build these kids up so they have the opportunity to compete at a college level and potentially get scholarships and offer them perhaps a different future than they might otherwise have access to. So that's kind of where I come from, and I'm very excited about this, and I sure hope that we can move forward and make it a positive thing for the community.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions?
I have one. So you mentioned a few outreach efforts going to the different events, but can you elaborate on some of the other ways you try to reach out to the community and let them know that we're offering this?
Well, we haven't gone other than we had Party in the Park, and then we did some things at Grove Pool. We did some things last year at Central High School, but our efforts to date have not been that extensive because we haven't really developed the program officially and formally. And once we do that with the board's blessing today, then we'll do the outreach that's necessary to get the kids involved. We will be meeting with the new athletics director, I think tomorrow, to talk about all of our initiatives that we would like to partner with this Kansas City, Missouri School District. So we'll be doing that tomorrow. With the blessing of the board in this program, we'll be able to share that information with him.
Okay, but
Is this, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think that there is going to be a lot of community interest in this. I know one of the things that we heard when we were trying to get the sales tax approved was, people wanting more opportunities to learn how to swim and sharing the experiences about having learned to swim at Swope Park. And so I think this is a great idea.
Yeah, thank you. What's the age group we're talking about targeting?
From a diving standpoint, 6 is about as young as we can go. I've done younger, but it's not usually it becomes babysitting pretty quickly. So really 6 to 18, and over, initially while we have smaller numbers as this begins, before we really get that build, it's frankly a little more challenging in the sense that having all those kids lumped together, that's kind of just contingent upon I have to make that work. But especially as we get it built up a little bit, then you can break that down into ages even a little better and kind of subdivide it, if you will. And so 6 to 18 is the answer there, and it'll kind of work its way out over time, if that makes sense.
So I think this summer, though, when we did the little outreach efforts at Swope and then at Grove, we were trying to gauge interest of young people in the community. And I think we got a lot of interest from kids. Now, obviously, they didn't know what they were doing, but they were interested and excited about the demonstrations that took place. And because of that, we really wanted to go ahead and try to move this forward, get it formalized, and then get it advertised out into the community and get it started.
Okay, very good.
Did you ever coach Emma Shanklin?
Yeah. I haven't talked to them in a couple of years now. I got to see. Well, I talk to Emma every once or twice a month. But
I remember that. I was just trying to remember that.
Yep. I haven't seen Marilyn though in ages now.
Well, Emma and my son were high school classmates. Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Is there a motion to approve the new community services fees and charges.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Your motion is seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, very good, resolution passes. Resolution number 30105.
Yes, Commissioners, this is a request for change order number 1 with Engineered Systems LLC on the Blue River Trolley Connector Trail, the amount of number 256, I believe the amount, yeah, 256,349. If you have any questions, Travis is here to answer those, and I know Richard's been involved in this project as well.
Any questions regarding this resolution and the change order? Pretty straightforward. All right, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, very good. Resolution passes. Resolution number 30106.
Yes, Commissioner, this is change order number 3 with Gunter Construction Company for the Cleaver Boulevard Streetscape Project. This is amount of $44,656.31 and adds 30 days to the construction schedule, which would bring us to the 21st of December, so we're wrapping up work here by the end of the calendar year. Again, if you have any questions, Travis is here to answer those.
Travis, can you just give us a general update on the project? I mean, I see it frequently. It looks fantastic. It's coming along nice. Just would like a little more context.
One of the things that's been added in this change order, which has come up on several occasions, has been the traffic control through that area, and that's been an ongoing issue, an ongoing battle. Not only having enough and having what's required in place to smoothly handle the traffic through there, but also making sure that it's enforced once it's in place. And had a lot of issues with people driving around barricades and this sort of thing through the construction site. The remainder of this change order had a lot to do with utility relocations. No matter what records were pulled prior to the construction of the project, there were a lot of utilities that were found on the site down there from placement that hadn't been documented over the years. So looking forward to having that wrapped up by the end of the year.
That is the plan to have it done by December then, right?
Actually, both of those projects, that Ped Bridge project and this project, both wrapped up by the end of the year.
Fantastic. Okay. Great. Thank you for the update. Appreciate it. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody else? Or is there any
Aye.
opposed? Just want to make sure. All right. Hearing none, resolution passes.
Okay,
Director's report.
please, major construction, Travis?
Good afternoon. This afternoon, we have a couple of projects that are actually being completed by our partners. The first one that we'll talk about is over Schumacher Park. The Three Trails CID actually paid for and initiated a trail overlay with Vance Brothers over there, about $10,000 project that constructed a 440-foot long asphalt trail through the park that connects to the Three Trails Trail along the south side of 93rd Street. And you can see some of the photos there, how 93rd Street is actually in the background of this first photograph here. And that's the shelter over in Schumacher Park. Lou Austin, who you've probably very familiar with, Mr. Austin, is the one behind the Three Trails CID. His family, I believe, actually dedicated that property for Schumacher Park, and so Lou had a particular interest in getting this amenity put in the park over there, and also connecting it up to the Three Trails Trail, which is the next project on your list there, and that's the one Lou has worked with MoDOT on, and this is about a 2,000-foot long trail. And on your vicinity map, you'll see Drury Avenue over here, just east of 435. And so this trail picks up here and goes across 435 to in front of Home Depot. And MoDOT is constructing this portion of it. And what this does is set up the opportunity for some segments to be constructed. And as Richard has been very successful in obtaining grants on in the past, the opportunity for grants pick up when you have intermittent segments to connect existing trails. So he's setting himself up well to get this trail done over there.
So this sits on what side? Is it that by 71 highway or 435?
No, this one does not go all the way to 71
So this is on 435?
on Bannister.
On Bannister?
Yeah.
Okay. I know.
And so it's actually a separate bridge.
Yeah.
Pat,
I was trying to
back to
visualize.
Shoemaker Park, what's that signage? Is that, looks like there's a placard there on the trail?
There is a placard there, and I cannot tell you what's on the placard.
It does talk about the 3 trails. I like that. I
With
think
with
that's-
this being in the location and the 3 trails trail being along 93rd Street, there's also portions of that trail that they still have the wagon ruts and so forth down in Minor Park. So there's connections of this in that entire area, and this is some of the items that Lou has been very instrumental in trying to preserve in that area.
Yeah, Richard, could you come up here, please? Commissioners, last Friday, Northland Neighborhoods Incorporated had their 8th annual awards breakfast, and this was the program, and they passed out awards in different categories, and with great pleasure and honor, Mr. Richard Allen was awarded the Rich Knoll Outstanding Government Service Award. And he gave a very powerful speech when he accepted that award last Friday morning. And,
Okay.
if you could give us some excerpts from that speech.
Sure. I want to
You want us to dim the lights?
Yeah, dim the lights. No. I want to thank Mark for allowing me to share this with the board. And I played team sports, and it's nice to get some individual recognition, but it's all about the team. And then my wife and one of my daughters was there, and so that was nice. And then I said that there's a lot of good employees that work for the city, and a lot of them could receive the award, and to receive it is a nice honor. And then when I went to K-State in landscape architecture, we spent a lot of time learning about the history of Parks and Rec, and Kansas City and George Kessler, and then it's been a great opportunity to work for the department. And then it's under great leadership with Mark McHenry in the board. And then growing up in Kansas City, if you have an opportunity to make where you grew up a better place, it's kind of rewarding. So that's kind of
Exactly
just,
what you said.
yeah.
Great.
So thanks for letting me share it with you today.
Thank you, congratulations.
That's good.
This exemplifies what I said during our campaign for the sales tax, is that people that work for Public Works take pride in doing a good job. People that work for parks love their parks, and that shows through.
No, it does.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. Well deserved.
Marketing report, Heidi?
Did you give him his award back? Good job, Kevin.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Well, we've had a couple of big weeks and have another big weekend coming up here. I think since last time we met, we had a groundbreaking for the new dog park up north. It was very well attended. Super exciting for the city of North Kansas City to have that dog park and for all dog lovers everywhere. So thank you for attending that. Then we had the marathon, which we made through virtually unscathed, I think. So only have heard several complaints, and most of them actually came before the marathon and haven't heard much since. So
Get any compliments or anything?
actually, we did. We got one email that was very complimentary of the way traffic moved through the middle of the marathon and how, they were allowed access across the route. So we are making great strides in communicating the marathon and getting everything to work as a big system. So thank you to our race coordinators particularly for that and all the time and effort they put in that weekend to make sure that everything went very smoothly.
Not that I want to interrupt, but I just want to kind of go back. I know that there was, at our last board meeting, there were some comments from the public, from one individual
Right.
representing the neighborhood association. So we felt like we addressed the concerns he brought forth and were able to, in many ways, sort of solve the challenges he felt existed. I mean, granted, we can't control what everybody sort of does, but from a traffic control, parking sort of standpoint, the race coordinators really were able to address a lot of that, correct?
Absolutely.
And in conjunction with our team and the others in part of the city, correct?
Yeah, he had kind of 3 demands that we met and haven't heard anything from him since, have you?
Okay.
So I'm assuming that all
Very
went
good.
well. No news is good
We'll take his
news.
silence as
Yes.
as approval.
Acceptance.
And thanks to all the staff. I mean, our race coordinators obviously led the way with that, but we had all areas, administration to the district level, pitching in to make sure that everything was implemented correctly and that road work wasn't done in the middle of the marathon as well. So.
Little sidebar.
Yeah, I don't need to go into that. Anyway, as expected, we did win several Kansas City Visitors Awards, and those would be the 2 that we won. The Kansas City Parks one was Favorite Fountain for J.C. Nichols, and then Favorite Golf Course for Swope Memorial Golf Course. The Kansas City Zoo won Favorite Kids Attraction, and the World War I Museum won Favorite Museum as well. So it was a big night for Parks and Rec for the Convention and Visitors Association Visitors Awards. We've got, I need to know, probably mostly just from you, Commissioner Judy, if you would like to run in the cliffhanger run. Okay.
Yes.
Good. And then the
Family calendar.
Thanksgiving Day run on Ward Parkway.
What time was that? Because Alan was thinking of joining.
Alan, you want to run in that with
He's going to dress up as a turkey.
the cliffhanger or the Thanksgiving?
I didn't hear
Somebody
anything.
else caught it besides me.
All right, just you can think about that and let me know if we need to register you. Okay, like I said, this weekend's a big one. We do have another run, which is the Wilderness Run, which takes place at Shoal Creek Living History Museum in Hodge Park, and that is on Saturday morning. We've got a new exhibit that's going over at the Battle of Westport Museum, A State Divided, the Civil War in Missouri, and that's going to be shown open to the public on Saturdays through December the 22nd. They're having an opening kind of reception this Saturday from 1 to 4, if any of you want to stop by there at the entrance to Swope Park. We've also got on Sunday at the Southeast Community Center in Swope Park, a very interesting historic presentation about Shelter Number 5 and the history of Shelter Number 5 in Swope Park, as it was known as Watermelon Hill. It's where African Americans were able to gather in the park. And we have, is it Joe Lewis Maddox, who's Joe Maddox, who is going to be doing a presentation. And it's just a fascinating history. So I have a flyer here. There's information and the whole story that he's written on our website if you want to check it out. But that is free and open to the public on Sunday, 2 o'clock at the Southeast Community Center. And then also this weekend at the Line Creek Community Center and Ice Arena, we have the big City of Fountains Fall Fling competition weekend, where ice skaters will be coming in from all over the region. They are range in age from 3, which is their youngest skater. Her name is Sophia. And their oldest skater is 65 years old, and his name is Charles. So events go on all day, beginning Friday, Saturday, and then also Sunday. So if you want to make it up there and
skate, the 3-year-old and 65-year-old, male, female.
yeah. And then, of course, next week, we've got the big opening of the Swope Soccer Village Championship Field and the kickoff for the Big 12 Women's Soccer Tournament, which is a week from today at 3 o'clock. Almost exactly a week from today. Hopefully the weather will be better. We've got a lot of important people coming in for this, including the commissioner of the Big 12 Athletic Conference himself will be there. So we're very excited about that and hope that you can all make it out and welcome and greet everyone and kick a soccer ball, much like we did when we opened up 9th and Van Brunt. One other kind of exciting thing is the Convention and Visitors Association is really excited, of course, about having a Big 12 tournament here in town, and they are purchasing street or light pole banners for us to hang here, and they will run from Swope Parkway to the entrance of the at Lewis Road, and those will be getting put up here in the next week. So we're very excited about that. And then, of course, I just confirmed this morning the opening of Route 169 and 108th Street, Shoal Creek Parkway. And that's going to be on November the 22nd at 10 a.m., and that's with MoDOT. And this is phase 2 of the project that we cut the ribbon for last fall. And then we go into all of our holiday activities. I've handed out the senior holiday luncheon that they have personally invited you guys to attend. And that is on November the 5th. Is that right? Or 6th. It's that Friday. And so if you'd like to attend, let me know, or let Mark Bullen know, or Brenda Foreman, who is the hosting it at their community center. And then that same weekend, we're doing our Santa's Wonderlands this year. We've added one in Swope Park, and we'll kick off Santa's Wonderlands on Thursday night, do them Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, get them all over with in one weekend, so that should be fun and cold. And then on December
What
the...
day is Penguin?
Penguin is always Saturday from 4 to 6. So it'll go Swope Park, 6 to 8, Gillum Park Friday night, 6 to 8, so Thursday, Friday. Penguin, 4 to 6 on Saturday, and then Longview, or the Bay, on that Sunday from 4 to 6.
Who's our friend that comes in from Swope to one of the...
Marquita Henry.
Is she aware that we're having it there this year?
We are making her aware of that.
Okay.
This is kind of, it's not quite the same thing, but we think this is heading in the right direction that she's requested.
Right. I mean, we will light up the park in that one area for that one evening. That is true.
We'll
That
have
it is a moving exhibit. It goes to the next part the next night, and the next part the next night. So, and then our employee appreciation breakfast will be on December the 18th at 7:30 in the morning. We still haven't determined the location, but get that on your calendar, and we'll let you know.
Great.
Okay.
Well, everybody has their calendar out too, and these are in the packet, I believe, that Carmen placed in there. The PC Metro Parks and Recreation Directors Association is having a banquet, appreciation banquet for the boards and commissions. These are board and commission members for all the city agencies and county agencies throughout the metro area. Hopefully that would fit your schedule. There again, that's Friday, November 8th, 6 o'clock over here at Starlight Theater. The other one that's in there is on Wednesday, November 6th, at the Indian Hills Country Club. This is an invitation from the Kansas City Rose Society. And the third item, traditional Veterans Day event up at the National War Memorial Museum at Liberty Memorial, and that is on, it said the 11th day of November, Veterans Day. So if any of those fit your schedules, just please let Carmen know.
Great. Let's move on to the next order of business. I believe public hearing. We do not have anybody signed up. We just did a calendar review, and I believe we might need to go into closed session, so.
Well, I would like to make a motion that we go into closed session to discuss legal, real estate, or personnel issues pursuant to RSMO Section 610.021.
Very good, thank you. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Commissioner Dillingham?
Yes.
Commissioner Mecklenburg?
Yes.
Commissioner Chowdhury votes yes. Commissioner McLean?
Bryant says yes.
McLean, Bryant? Let me say McLean. Let me say Commissioner Judy.
Commissioner Marion.
Yes. Very good, very good. All right, we are in closed session.